Billy Ray Cyrus is in a room with his wife and the conversation is already over before it starts. You can hear it in the audio that his wife Fire Rose releases. He's not trying to understand her at all. He is deciding whether or not she's allowed to speak. And you hear the pause where she stops herself. You hear the moment where she's not arguing, not pushing back. She's literally just trying to figure out the rules. And that pause matters. You've done that, right? That's the moment that most women recognize immediately because you've stood there too. Mouth half open, deciding whether or not one more sentence is even worth what's about to come back at you. This is about Billy Ray Cyrus, and it's more about power, not about personality. And I'm naming him because he's the subject. Fame does not make abuse different. I would say that it just really gives it a cover. The belief that keeps women stuck here is simple and it's deadly. You're told that the relationship problem is communication. You're told that if you explain yourself better and calmer and cleaner, with less emotion, then things will change. That belief falls apart the second you listen to this audio, and we're about to.
This ain't about your surgery. This ain't about nothing. This is about you being a selfish.
That recording is not shocking because of the swearing, right? It's shocking because of how organized it is. He isn't spiraling, right? But he's enforcing. He tells her to shut up. He tells her he'll stay only if she does what he says. And he reframes it as like he's the one suffering, right? Babysitting, burdened. It's classic Darvo. And when she says she doesn't know when she's allowed to talk, I want you to see that as evidence because you don't say that unless you've already been corrected again and again for speaking at the wrong time in the wrong way or with the wrong tone. And she's aware of this double bind. She's wrong no matter what she does or what she says. And that confusion does not come from one bad fight. It comes from conditioning. I'm Lisa Sonni. I'm a 7-time certified relationship coach and 4-time author. I work online with women in abusive relationships and trauma bonds, and I want you to hit subscribe so that you do not miss more content that exposes abusive men. Here's what is actually happening in that audio, and this is where women get really misled. He frames the issue as her behavior. It's her talking, her feelings, her selfishness. But the moment that her words have feedback about him, the original issue disappears, right? Gone. Now the focus is on her delivery. It's on her tone, whether or not she's being respectful enough. And that shift is not accidental. It's the move. Accountability is redirected away from what he did and onto how she reacted to it. And because the relationship has already been framed in this sort of communication problem, this feels reasonable at first. So you think, okay, I'll try again differently, right? Picture the scene that exists right before the audio. She's probably already tried being calm. She's likely already waited for the right moment. She's likely already been told she's too emotional, too intense, too much. So she comes in very soft, shorter. She watches his face while she talks and she's editing herself mid-sentence, planning the whole time, overthinking, hypervigilance. And the second he feels exposed or challenged, he shuts it down or he escalates. But either way, the outcome is the same. She leaves the conversation destroyed and he leaves without having to change a single thing. And sometimes that shutdown can look really quiet. He goes cold, he sighs, scrolls, stares past you. Maybe he walks out of the room. He says, I can't do this right now. But those are all different actions, and yet they do the exact same thing. So if you're standing there wondering if you push too hard, right, that makes sense. Sometimes it doesn't really look quiet at all. Maybe he keeps you talking for hours, circling the same accusation. He rephrases it, asking the same question again and again. He's relentless. He gets louder. He won't let it end. That one makes women feel crazy. But listen, both serve the same purpose. In both cases, the conversation never comes back to what he did. It never resolves. It just exhausts you instead. And abusive men, oh my God, they love an exhausted woman. But this is the double bind that I mentioned, right? You're required to communicate, but you're also punished for speaking. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't. When you bring things up, he shuts it down or he'll trap you inside of it. So if you stop bringing things up, he accuses you of avoiding hard conversations. You're expected to be open and honest and vulnerable, but only in ways that protect him from his own discomfort. There is no version of this where you win. You can be calm and you're cold. You can be emotional and he's going to call you unstable. You could be direct and now you're disrespectful. So try being gentle and I tell you, the man's going to call you passive aggressive. The outcome never changes because the goal is not a solution. The goal is to control over the terms and the timing and the emotional direction of the entire conversation. Go back to the audio again in your mind. Notice how he positions himself, right? He's not saying, I hear you. He's not saying, I messed up. There's no accountability. He's saying, if you want me to stay, you'll shut up. And I'm telling you, his presence is totally conditional. Staying is just a reward for her compliance, but silence, that's the cost. So maybe you're still in it and you want peace so badly that maybe silence feels like it's okay. You know what I mean? It might feel worth it because once staying is conditional, your voice is dangerous. So you start to manage yourself and your tone, your words, but it's all just to keep the peace. Girl, his peace, not your peace. He's teaching you what costs you the least inside that exact moment. And this is where people kind of get stupid about abuse, right? They're going to ask, why'd she stay? They're going to say, why'd she go back? Why is she sharing it now, right? She deserved it. She just stayed for the money. And I'm telling you, those questions assume abuse announces itself really clearly, right? It's right there. It's so clear. It's so consistent. Abuse is never like that. It works by creating uncertainty. It keeps you guessing. It convinces you that if you just find the right approach, that things will stabilize, then it'll be okay. But that belief is reinforced every time the abuser reframes the problem as your communication instead of his behavior. And when you're dealing with a man who has money and status and a public image, the pressure to doubt yourself multiplies. Billy Ray Cyrus denies the allegations. He accuses Fire Rose of abuse. And I'll be clear, for legal reasons, that this video is just my opinion based on information available publicly. His response is not surprising to me at all, right? An abusive man calling the victim abusive? I'm shocked. When control is exposed, the story flips, right? Mutual blame, two sides, relationship conflict. But the audio does not show two people in conflict. To me, I see it clearly. It shows one person setting rules and the other trying to basically survive the rules, right? That no doubt change frequently. Equal blame narratives are so convenient. They protect power. They keep people from having to name what is actually happening. But let's talk about some kind of family context here because I'm telling you, people always reach for this, right? His daughter, Miley Cyrus, has spoken publicly about her relationship with her dad. She's talked about distance, reconciliation. She's gone on about peace. And immediately some people grab onto that and they're like, well, if his daughter has a relationship with him, then he's not that bad. Or she forgave him. He can't be abusive, right? He can't be that bad. The logic, what logic? It's trash. There's no logic. Children and partners hold completely different positions. A child, especially an adult child, you can detach, reframe, limit contact, redefine the relationship on her terms. A spouse, she lives inside the dynamic, right? A wife is going to absorb his moods, the reactions, the consequences day after day after day. So using a child's public reconciliation to dismiss a partner's experience, that's nonsense. It's stupid. It ignores power, it ignores proximity and risk, and it lets people just sidestep the actual behavior that we can hear with our own ears in that audio. This isn't about Miley. Now, watch how this pattern shows up outside that recording. Let's travel to your house. You bring up something that hurt you, he sighs, rolls his eyes, tells you that you're exhausting. So you end up apologizing for bringing it up at all. You tell yourself that you'll choose better timing next time. You'll be calmer, you'll be clearer, because next time is going to be different. But next time looks exactly the damn same because it's the conversation that is designed to go nowhere. That's the point. It's designed to teach you that speaking costs you something. So next time, STFU, right? This is why communication advice, it fails women so much who are in abusive relationships because you can't communicate your way out of a power imbalance. You can't word your way into safety. You're not going to earn respect from somebody who benefits from withholding it from you. He doesn't respect you. And the audio that we're talking about here makes it so obvious, right? He knows what he's doing. You think he's confused? No, he is not overwhelmed. He's enforcing a position. And there's another scene that exists around that recording, and I bet you know it if you've lived it, right? She's deciding whether to tell someone, a friend, a family member, a therapist, and she hesitates because she can't explain it clearly. Because there's no single incident that sounds bad enough on its own, right? It's tone, it's timing, it's rules that change. So she stays quiet, and that silence, it protects him, not her. And the longer it goes on, the harder it is to trust your own read of the situation. Fear is not always about physical danger, and people treat it like it is. It's actually about consequence. What happens if I speak? What happens if I leave? What happens if I come out and tell the world the truth about him? Fear keeps women compliant so much after love is just gone already. And abusers rely on that, right? They do not need to threaten you explicitly if the pattern already works for them. That's why the audio feels so familiar. It's efficient. It doesn't have to be extreme to be real. But here's what people really miss when they focus on swearing or the volume. They miss what's being rewarded. And in that interaction, I'm telling you, compliance is rewarded with silence. Resistance is punished with humiliation. And over time, your body is going to learn that talking costs you something. Billy Ray Cyrus is not some anomaly. He's just a visible, current example of a very common pattern. Fame does not create this behavior, but it absolutely hides it. And when it finally becomes known, people rush to minimize it because naming would often feel like you have to reevaluate how often we actually excuse men's control as like temperament or stress or passion. And that minimization is part of the system that keeps so many women stuck and trapped. Here's the cost of staying in a dynamic like this. Your world shrinks, your confidence is gone. Your decisions become wildly hard. You don't trust yourself. You start asking for permission and you barely even notice that it's happening. So leaving feels impossible because you've been trained to believe that the problem is you. And that's the real damage, right? It's not the yelling or the insults, the erosion of self-authority. Hit subscribe because this channel names patterns clearly so you can stop blaming yourself for dynamics that aren't even fixable. So if this audio made sense to you, don't ignore it. Understanding the structure, that's what breaks the spell. And if you want support getting out of or healing from a relationship that just feels exhausting, if you feel like you're in a double bind or confused, or the relationship feels controlling, that is the work that I do. The links to book with me are below. Drop a comment and I'm going to see you in the next video.